Hi, my name is Noshad, I'm just naming Shabon, Spurs Video Podcast. Sorry about the previous video podcasts. I've been using the webcam and making me a whole extra headroom. I'm going to give a big shout out to Eggsy and just going to talk about who should come, who should go. Obviously, I was just watching the Man City tie, that one they all remember from 2 years ago when, almost 2 years ago now when we qualified for the Champions League. And you look at that team and, Harry, said, I'm not a wheel dealer, I'm a fucking football manager. And yeah, he did. He brought in Crouch, brought Defoe and Robbie Keane back, Good Johnson. He had to bring some players in. Cranchaw was a notable one, Palacios. But the bulk of that team, Cabal he also brought back, but King, Dawson, Gomez was there, Chorluka, I think he was injured, but I think he would have been playing that day. Benny, Bale, obviously, I know people say Harry didn't really have faith in Bale, but be that as it may. And then you got Luca there, Hudson, Bentley, who I don't think would have played. I think Lennon would have played that game really, but yeah, if you look at that, at least quite a few of that team was the team that the team he inherited, and then obviously he would make changes. That's what you bring any manager to do. And I think when you look at our team going forward, if you look at say who will we bring, I think it's a case of who will we let go. I know Ryan Nelson had a good performance against Bolton, and that was amazing, and he scored a goal, and I'm grateful and everything like that. But for me personally, at 33, I think he is. How much can he offer? I mean, if you look at the limited squad places that we have, I think, even if Cole comes back, I think his age will hopefully help him not count as one of the players because of his age, and that will hopefully accommodate. That's great. So we got an extra bonus place. But for me, I wouldn't give that to Nelson, who I think is a great player, great experience. But we already have Gallas who does that. We have King who does that. We're going to have to make a choice, and especially when we want to bring someone like Vertonghen in, because if we're not going to, and you sure as hell know that Arsenal are going to. Now, I'm not saying we should try and take a player just because we can, from them. Obviously, what weakens them and strengthens us is a great thing. But I don't know. I looked at the Dutch league, and I saw one of the games Ajax inspired and all. And I'm not saying he wasn't impressive, but obviously they didn't understand the offside rule. The referee didn't, because there was quite a few of the guys were offside. But for me personally, I don't know. Is he going to be the player? I mean, he's a ball playing. He's tall, 6'2". He can play the ball, and obviously he fulfills the defensive midfielder. But can you see him coming? Because I think Nelson will be leaving. I do think so. I think Gallas will stay till the end of his contract. I think Ledley King. I think a combination of sentimentality. Because if it was sentimentality for Nelson, can you imagine sentimentality for Ledley King? I think they'll give him one more season. He's played about 20 odd games this season. Now, obviously, that you want players playing at least 30 or ideally 40 games every single game ever present, like Mr. Bionic Man himself, that Michael Dawson. Well, unfortunately, missed a lot. He's going to miss a lot of the season for injury. But if you look at Ledley King, I just think he's a player that there's something about him. When I was watching that City game, you watch it again. Seriously, watch it. Watch how he defends against Tevez. And he does the same against Van Persie as well. And that kind of corners under fire. I mean, could you imagine how much someone like Corker would learn playing with Ledley King, playing with William Gallas? I'm not saying you could know that from Nelson, but I can see Nelson being moved on. Another couple of players I saw there, Jermaine Jenas. I remember getting said, a few of the players that dunked water on Harry Redknapp, were on the subs bench, and he jokes about they wouldn't be here. And the funny thing is, then they're not going to. If you look at say Palacios, he's gone. Jenas, I think in Livermore we have a younger, better version. I mean, I remember Tiffer saying, do you know what, Jenas was playing the way he was playing for Ramos that second half season, but I don't think he played that brilliantly. I think he had a couple of good games, which Jenas always does. He has a couple of great games and then just disappears. I think you can see him moving on. I can see Saha moving on purely because of his age. I'd like to keep him, but I think if Dimitar Berbatov is available, go Demi. I mean, I'm not saying the way we play with a 4-4-1-1, it's good to have that competition for Addy. If Addy chooses to stay, hopefully he will stay. And you got players like I think Gallas, I think Pinard's going. I don't think I just think he needs to play. He needs to be the man, and at Everton he is the man. He fits in well. The team works well around him. For some reason, he'll never get that kind of thing going for him at Tottenham. He just never will. He can't play right wing that well for us because basically we needed a right winger. Lennon's injured. Why are we letting him stick in Pienaar go? He's a right-footed winger. But he's more of an inverse winger, and we just don't play with that kind of style as yet to play with inverse wingers that well. I think Bassong's going. I mean, he hasn't done great tricks at Wolves, but let's face it, no one could do great tricks at Wolves. They're just not a great club. So I think you're looking at say 5, say Nelson, Saha, Bassong, Jenas, Pienaar, and Bentley. I've never rated Bentley. I remember watching this Fulham game a few years ago. I said, you know what? I said to my mum, he's gonna hit the wall. And my mum goes, no, he's gonna score. He's gonna score. My mum, who knows nothing about football, and actually no, she knows more about football than I do. That's how much she knows. And she goes, no, he's gonna score. And we were both right. He hit the wall, and the ball bounced in. But Bentley, I mean, let's face it, we've been linked with Hazard. I just don't see him getting into the side. I mean, I think they're gonna probably loan him to the MLS. Just so he can get some, because obviously it's not his fault he's injured. That happens to a lot of players; they get injured. But I think he'll get loaned to the MLS, and I'm thinking coming January, he's going to get sold to someone else. I just see that happening. He won't be on our squad list. You guys know who I'd like to see come in. Obviously Hazard, which is not going to happen. But I think if you see 5, 6 players leaving, that opens the door for another 4 or 5 players to come in. I think obviously you've got Carl Norton coming back. I think Charlie's gone. I forgot to say Charlie. Charlie's a great player, 6'3", but he's a bit too slow. And I think in Germany it really works for him because they play as like the sweeper, continental sweep formation, and that works for him. Whereas in England it doesn't work for him because he's not quick enough. But it's the quality he has. He has such good quality. I mean, I saw him play Croatia against Turkey, and I'm thinking, wait, is that Charlie doing that? So he's obviously got quality, but and so is my mate Peter, my Braso. Petamona, because I think he's Croat, obviously loves Charlie, but as I should say veteran, but do you know what? I just don't see it happening for Charlie. So we've got loads of openings there, and I think naturally it'll be filled with like the likes of Norton and Colker, and I think Livermore. And this is one player, just for you to think out. One thing I've always talked about is Huddleston, is that I don't see the urgency in this game. I don't see him passing with the urgency or with the volume or with the urgency or the daring. I see him possibly, because there's basically our midfield has a slot. There's the Lucas slot, which is obviously Lucas, and then you've got 4 people competing in it now for, I suppose, it's the Parker slot, because it's generally Scotty Parker. But even away from home, you've got, if we do play a 4-2-3-1 as we've been playing a 4-3-3, it'll be Parker, most possibly, and either possibly Livermore or Huddleston. And I can somehow think Livermore might get ahead of it just because he's just got that combination of energy that Jenas has, combination of passing range, and I think unless Huddleston pulls his finger out and starts really passing, I hope he'll be fit by the time he gets back, but unless he pulls his finger out, he'll find it very difficult. I think, in a weird way, I'm not saying, I forgot that player's name, Busquets, but I'm not saying he'll be as good as Busquets, I'm not going to say that at all, but you can see that kind of mould he's going for. Athletic, 6 foot, play with good ball players, got some energy to him, so it could be an interesting thing. As always, I'm going to give my shout outs out to Spurs Odyssey, SpursForum.co.uk, and Top Spurs. For those of you who don't know the Spurs Forum website, index me on YouTube, and I'll happily give it to you. It's a great site, and yeah, as is Spurs Odyssey, as is Top Spurs. Check them all out. As always, come on, you Spurs.